Mike Tyson, now the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and possibly the most fearsome champion of all. His place in the history of the sport and his own views on those that have gone before is the subject of a special feature from Harry Carpenter that we've called Tyson and the Heavyweights.
Comes in for the kill, left and right by Marciano, right cross, and Tussle sways again. History is made! History is made! Oh, he's got him with the right hand! He's got him! Oh, you can't believe it!
That was a right to the body and an uppercut to the head, and Berbick is down. We have a new era in boxing.
It was November 1986, and Mike Tyson, only 20, had become the youngest man ever to win the world heavyweight title. Aptly labelled the Incredible Hulk, Tyson has so amazed the public with his power and aggression, he is today the most celebrated heavyweight in the world since the heyday of Muhammad Ali. As a kid from Brooklyn, Tyson was on his way to a life of crime, mugging the citizens of New York. Boxing has put him straight. Moreover, he's become an expert in the history of his chosen sport. Unlike most champions, Tyson can trace his succession to the world title right back to boxing's earliest days. And that's why I invited him to a BBC film editing studio to look back with me at those who came before him. We started with Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion, who was admired by the white man for his skill, but reviled for being black.
For his time, he was a defensive genius. Because everybody back there in those times would just make the fist and take the punches, let's just move away. When he would just catch him in the air. Because back then they only do 2-3 punches, and you could anticipate them, watch them catch him in the air. And back then it was a big time. But you know, nowadays it would be so much difficult to do that because people are throwing 7-8 punches at a time, consistent punches, and one of them has to catch you if you're not elusive with your body. Since he wasn't elusive with his body or his feet, he just caught the punches at the air.
What he achieved, you see, Mike, was amazing because in those days a black boxer didn't get the opportunities that a black boxer would get today. And Johnson, in fact, was pushed around, shoved around, as so many great black fighters were in those days. And as you know, he had to chase Tommy Burns halfway around the world before he could catch up with him and get a shot at the title. In Sydney, Australia, 1908. Is that one of the fights that interests you?
Well, I'm very interested in the fight because the way he toyed with Mr. Burns so frequently, and it was just unbelievable because I watched Burns fight, and Burns was a tremendous fighter. Even though of his height differential of 5'7" he was just a tremendous fighter for his day. And I watched some guys toy with him, and it was just mind-boggling to watch somebody just toy with another great fighter. And it's the guy. This guy he must be magic.
He was a very controversial man all through his career, Johnson. He was a bit like a sort of Muhammad Ali of his day, I suppose you could say. And even at the end, when he lost the title against Big Jess Willard, there was that fantastic controversy about whether Johnson had actually faked the finish. He was knocked out of the 26th round, and we've all seen the famous picture of him shielding his eyes, it said, from the sun with his right hand, which is supposed to prove that he was conscious and could have got up if he wanted to. What do you think about that?
Well, it's very difficult for me to believe that he threw the fight because of the kind of guy he was. And I watched the fight till it came out my ears, Johnson and Willard, and I used to constantly see that he just got hit in the chin. And there was 26 hot, grueling rounds in the Havana, Cuba sun. 26 rounds. That's a lot of pressure on both guys. If he was going to throw the fight, he would have did it in 7, 6 rounds. 26 rounds is a long time to decide when I'm going to throw a fight.
Do you think you could you prepare yourself to go 26 rounds if you had to?
Almost definitely. Absolutely. Going rounds is a state of mind. If you can go 4 rounds, you can go 6. If you can go 6, you can go 10. You go 10, 15, and so on. It's in a state of mind. It's very difficult to believe that if fighters now, back then, can go 45 rounds, why can't we do it nowadays? It's only state of mind. It's only state of mind.
As far as his boxing ability is concerned, is he somebody that you would like to model yourself on?
Well, as far as the way he lives, you know, he was a champion. He fought as a champion, and you know, he lived like a champion. But as far as, you know, his style, no. I have no great interest in copying his style, because if he was in modern day, he wouldn't make a penny.
Why do you say that? Simply because he was too clever?
Very clever, very smart, but very uninteresting. Very uninteresting. You wouldn't have to take a laxative or something to fall asleep watching him fight.
Nobody falls asleep when Tyson fights. Here he is dealing with a modern Jack Johnson.
Round number 1, scheduled 6, but hold on to your hats. Nobody thinks it's going to go that far. Well, up there he goes. He's just going to pull his way in. Those rights to the body. Left jab, right to the heart.
Quickly want to point out, first fight for Michael Jack Johnson in 2 years.
I'm glad you pointed it out, because down he goes. The left hook just buried him, dug him in the ribs.
I think it was a
Michael
left and a
Jack
right.
Johnson went goodbye. That left hook just caught him and sent him right to the canvas.
23-pound weight advantage,
my goodness.
and he put it all there.
The right to the head, and it's all over. Goodbye.
Let's move a little bit further ahead now, Mike, because I'd like to take you on to Jack Dempsey. We've got some footage of him here in his fight when he won the title from Jess Willard. Jess Willard, obviously, is the big man. Now, this was a very savage fight indeed. This is the first round.
I love watching this fight. Oh,
Willard down.
in the case we have here, Jack Dempsey is a very, very vicious man. And as you see, he fights like someone having eaten for 5 days.
Very small man, too.
But ferociously savage.
Well, he was a hobo in his early days. I mean, he had to fight to live. And it all comes out here, doesn't it? But you see, nobody, like, when you look at Dempsey, he looks very old-fashioned, doesn't he? I mean,
well,
hands down, fights like somebody on the street.
No, you must understand, me and Cus spoke about this fight a lot of times, and I was telling Cus, wow, this is a great fight, he's great, Cus. And I was saying, but he said, but Mike, you must understand, this was a young Dempsey, he was wild, he was very nervous, he was very tentative, and he just wanted to get the fight with as quick as possible. Because he was this first time fighting for a title, he's 24 years old, and he's nervous, he doesn't know what's going through his mind, he just wants to win. And he's seen hurt the guy, and it's just, everything's explosive, he's tight, he's ready to go, and like, look at him now, it's just unbelievable what he's doing. He's been fighting for years. People don't know he's been fighting as a hobo for years, losing, winning, getting knocked out, having hundreds of fights, and his experience is so vast. You know, it's just so unbelievable. No one really knows how many hundreds of fights he had.
You can tell what an impression he must have made on people. To see him do that to somebody like Willard, who was quite well respected at that time. Willard had got rid of Johnson.
Look at
And
this.
look what he's doing.
This is unbelievable. This is what you call an onslaught, somewhat to a slaughter. And would you believe people had the nerve to call Willard a coward and yeller? Because back in these days, he got out of his seat. He didn't get knocked out on his back. But he had a broken eye socket, broken cheekbone,
Sure.
3 broken ribs. And there was a rumor going around that Jack, he had hardened plaster on his arm, on his fist, when he went into the fight. I heard stories. I read books about what Jack Dempsey said about it. He just did whatever Jack Kearns said, though. So I'm like, Jack Dempsey, you know, I'm real biased on the situation. I love Jack Dempsey. But in those days, anything could happen because there was no, like I was saying, there was no agency and nothing to protect the fighters. It was just you're on your own.
Mike, I can tell you a little follow-up story to that plaster of Paris.